perseverance leading to faithfulness. And as we sense in to the virtue that we ourselves have been able to experience, it's not always easy to connect with a quality of perseverance as an in-streaming virtue. For some, the quality of the faithfulness would be more a dynamic, but you're seeking the virtue that really is a part of your own experience this month, or you can really see where you have cultivated a relationship to this virtue of perseverance and faithfulness. And then you let yourself drink that in, allow it to penetrate through the whole of the body, and it comes to a culmination in the heart center as it streams through from the environment, from what you've experienced into the heart. And then from the heart, that stream of that virtue comes up through the eyes and out into the environment around us. And this, of course, leads us to this receiving and giving through this virtue of positivity. It really allows us to see more of the virtues in the world around us as we enter this practice. So let this be part of our efforts towards this month to see more of the virtues in and around us, to see more faithfulness and perseverance, and to be grateful for those people or places or environments that really emanate that from themselves into the world around them. And as we experience it, we are able to also bring it through us into the world around us. Have a wonderful month. Hello everyone, and welcome again to this month's virtue practice. We're working this month with perseverance leading to faithfulness. And we are here, myself and my dear friend Emilie, in the south of France, in Saintes-Maries-de-la-Mer. This is the landing place of Mary Magdalene and her companions, which of course the legends have different views of those companions. But this was where she landed when they had to flee Palestine. She then went from here to Marseille and then spent the rest of her life in the foothills in a cave. But this is an incredibly significant place for several reasons. Now we're here at a time of year where one of the companions, Sara, who is an incredibly important figure for the travelers and for the traveling people, and they are all beginning to descend on this village to pay homage to her, which culminates next weekend in her yearly celebration. So people come from all over the world to connect with Sara. And we are right now in the crypt where the statue of Sara is, and people are coming and going, and there's something so very interesting about this experience. For me, Sara is an interesting black Madonna that is in very many ways quite plasticky looking, and filled with necklaces, and there's not just necklaces, but there's also crowns upon her and very materialistic looking cloaks. But this is interesting because it still emanates this very powerful quality. I can only say that what it really gives is something of it's the honouring that people bring to it. It's one of those places where you feel that the reverence and what lives in the hearts of those that come to visit it give it such a force that in this space something is taking place. So Emily, would you like to add to that and what's happening in this space for you?
Yes, I totally relate to what you're saying, that there is something about this place that actually, when you think about the idea of a crypt, right, in a very old church like the one in Saintes-Maries-de-la-Mer, you would feel of somewhere a little bit dark, a little bit cold even. And what I'm feeling here is the exact opposite. I'm feeling a warmth. I'm feeling, like it's actually, there's beautiful lights all around us because of the candles. There's some sense of belonging. Like there are those people, like coming and touching her. The idea of touching the Black Madonna is really important in that culture. And I think what I'm sensing is that, because the travelers are always experiencing different places and people, and they are very much in touch with how they connect to things. And I think Sarah, who is featured here, is really teaching that, that idea of connecting with each other through the heart, through the touch, through holding hands, through, chanting, because now you can hear the chanting around us. So it is a very powerful place.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons we chose to bring this virtue in connection with this place is because so many of the legends indicate that there had to be a perseverance, whether it's the perseverance that we see of Mary Magdalene and her companions, but also the perseverance of Sara herself. One of the legends says that she wasn't meant to be upon the boat. She kept insisting, she kept persevering. This is my place, this is where I need to be. And she held the cloak or the garment of one of the Marys that were on the boat. There was a flock of Marys. And in her holding this garment, she was able to get on this boat and actually work to serve the voyage and serve the journey and the travelling of others. But there is something in the traveller's virtue that I've often recognised in the years that I've met travellers, is they have this capacity for perseverance and the faithfulness that is almost a part of the life they have to live. So it's really strong here in many of the legends, but also in the quality of the virtue that emanates from the people here. There is a sense that the faithfulness that is arisen from already pursuing a particular virtue that lives in us. And that's something to be very mindful in this work of the virtues, is that there are virtues that we have, but if we work with them, if we actually live them out, they will develop other virtues. And this perseverance that develops faithfulness is very beautifully experienced here. And we are now alone in the crypt. People come and go. There will be hundreds and hundreds of people over the next few days. But the people have to come here. They journey to this point. And there is something about the whole legend of her and what is emanated here that gives you this sense of that don't give up on the journey. Keep persevering on the journey. Be faithful to the reality that we are coming to something even when things get very challenging, very difficult.
Yes, and I feel like one of the interesting thing about this place as well is that it's a very important place of pilgrimage, and the fact that the travelers have been coming here every May of each year for years and years, and they kept on meeting Sarah and meeting that moment, and they are still doing it, and young people are still doing it. And even traveling through the south of France and, going through all those different churches leading to the cave of Mary Magdalene and seeing how modern and present that still is. Like, people commit to walk for days and weeks and meeting whatever they will meet, I think is a beautiful aspect of, that perseverance and that faithfulness, that whatever you'll meet is an important step on the way. And I think finding those times, however they look like or wherever they are, is very important nowadays.
And what I deeply appreciate about this place is, as you said, it's significant to a group of people that have maintained a relationship to it, and that their hearts have generated something here, and it's so recognizable that you can experience that what we can activate in a place. So of course there's legends here that have begun the seed of impulse towards something, but it's the people that have consistently said their heart is connected to this place, that keeps it a sacred ground, or a holy place, or a sacred site, if we want to use those words. And I feel that there's such a warmth, as you experience, but my heart feels so warm to the deed of these people, to have kept alive a legend that actually helps us connect to these saints in such a way that we can recognize the power of that in our own selves on the journey that we're taking.
Yes. And I would add also that the powerful thing about this place and this church and this moment is also the connection to the divine in different forms and different colors. And you see that, like actually seeing the statue of Sarah, like covered with different colors of clothes and, like jewelry. And at the same time, you see the beautiful simplicity of the other Marys also featured in this church. And this is part of the perseverance and the faithfulness of connecting to you, all those different aspects of yourself that ultimately are connected to the being. And it really opens my heart as well, to have that sense that we are all so multifaceted, and that's the beauty of it. And there's not one way. There's all those different gardens opening to us that, we can connect with.
That's right. And it's so actually important place for me to visit, because I'm preparing for the upcoming St. John's Festival. And there's a few pictures in relationship to that, where these different Marys that represent aspects of the human soul And here in this particular church, there are two Marys that are not so well known. Of course, Mary Magdalene, who's such a significant representation of an aspect of the human soul that plays such an important role as the John the Baptist initiates the Christ through baptism, and Mary Magdalene through the anointing. It's such an important role in helping the other to take a step forward. And yet we have these other Marys that we know much less about, that were also identified as being under the cross. It's almost as though there's a flock of Marys to talk about, because they're all aspects of the human soul, and they really give us this true sense that different qualities of soul are different pathways that people need to walk. Now, in a certain way, we know this name Mary is an initiate name, and a name that is given to the female initiate in the times, and they all carry the name, but they all carry actually different tasks within the human soul to unfold. And so it's quite a privilege to be here at this time, where people who have worked to hold something and honour something keep building that quality in a space together. Even though they may never have met each other, they come together under the name of this saint. So certainly that we will continue these pictures of understanding this relationship between John the Baptist and Mary Magdalene, and the Marys and the soul processes and the facets of the individual path towards the Spirit through these preparation for St. John's. And it's so wonderful to be here preparing this with you.
Thank you. I feel the same way, and I would also add something interesting about this place for me is, of course, the connection with the sea, because we are like in a city, les Saintes-Maries-de-la-Mer, and ultimately, like, the Marys have had to come through storms, through heavy seas, and it was a challenging journey, and it feels like a place of landing here. And again, symbolically, I think this is really important in terms of like where we are in our world today, and how like we're going through the waves, and the sea is holding us at the same time as challenging us, but ultimately there's a place to land, and this place feels like that. It's a very tiny city in France, it's not so well known, and at the same time it carries this idea that there is a place to land, and the Marys are accompanying us in that journey.
Yeah, and all really we need to do is persevere, and we will find it. But yeah, there's so much on offer here, and obviously we're connecting it to this particular virtue because it feels so potent here. But in any place that we go, we can feel, what does it bring out of us, and what is it offering us, and what are we offering it? And I think part of this journey has been not just to come here and experience what is here, but to ask, what are we bringing here at this time, in this very significant month, for the people that are all gathering in this place. So we'll wrap it up here, because there's people still coming in and needing to be in this space alone themselves. And thank you for sharing this time.
Thank you so much.
I am the one who shines through.